So, what is rich girl energy? For a long time, I told myself, when I'm rich, I'll do this. When I'm rich, I'll do that. And yes, it's true, to be rich, you need money. Don't let people tell you that you don't because, it's not true. I'm not here to bullshit you. And I've come to realize something by being in touch with rich people because of living in Dubai and of the job that I had for so many years, being in contact with a lot of very affluent people. And also by being in touch with a lot of people who, I'm not going to say poor people because that's not the case, but people who didn't live up to their potential and who don't believe that they can live up to their potential. And for that reason, they are always complaining about money. They're really struggling to make it till the end of the month. And I was one of those people too. So yeah. Honestly, the thing that differentiates these two groups, the people with money and the people with no money, is the fact that they see money completely different. So what is rich girl energy? Essentially, to me, is having this mindset that sees money in a different way than regular people. So you see money as abundance, as something good, and as something that is completely attainable. And that energy ends up taking over all parts of your life. And because it takes over all parts of your life, it eventually allows you to get to your goal of achieving that wealth, right? And wealth can look different to everybody. There's people who are really happy with showing how much they have, others that are more reserved and don't really like to brag about their money. There's people that consider themselves rich, by having tons of money in the bank. To others is by having a successful business and maybe no money in the bank. To some, it may be owning a house, owning a super expensive car. Honestly, the perception is different for everybody. But how do you get there? How do you become your version of rich? How do you attract money? How do you become wealthy? Like I said, you got to change one thing, and that is your mindset. So let me share with you 7 mindset shifts that are going to help you reach that rich girl energy and attract wealth. Are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, so mindset shift number 1. You deserve to have money. And I know this sounds very dumb because you're probably thinking, of course I deserve to have money. Yeah, okay, we say it in practice, but do we really think it? Because I know that for a long time, I thought that I wasn't worthy, that being rich and, not having any financial worries or financial anxiety was something that was meant for me. Because I grew up with, in a home where, luckily, I had everything. I always had food on the table. I had a house, I had an education. So to me, that's the basics were covered, and that's amazing. But there was this thing in my house, and this could have happened to you too, where, money was seen as something that didn't come easy to us. And I've actually heard that during my childhood, sometimes coming from my parents, like, oh yeah, like money doesn't come for us as easy as for some people. Or you would see someone who's really rich and think, oh, they can do that, or they can, whatever, because they're rich. And reality is that comes from a place where we feel like we don't deserve to have money, that money is something that is meant for others. And that's something that you need to change. So that was a big change it took me a while and a lot of therapy to realize that this is something that I struggled with. But I finally made the shift, and I know I deserve money. And as soon as I unlocked that in my head, money started coming in, and I started making more money than I ever thought I would. And I still know that I have to make more money, and I will make more money. I feel like there's a lot of these things that are going to stem from beliefs that we, sometimes acquire during our early years. I know that for me, it was that way. And sometimes beliefs also that come from, how the world makes us see. It's funny. The role that, what other people say and how the world moves plays in your life can honestly make you or break you depending on how you take it. Anyway, mindset shift number 2. Money is a good thing. Honestly, this for me was like mind blowing because I hadn't realized. I realized this because my husband told me one day. We grew up with completely different backgrounds. I come from a very humble family. He comes from a more, comfortable family. He went to amazing schools. He, played tennis. Like that was something that for me growing up, only rich people did. But that's something that my husband told me. He said, money is a good thing. And I looked at him, I'm like, of course it's a good thing. And he said, no, but why do you see it as if it's something bad? Like, what is it going to do to you? And then I realized and heard again from early childhood, like certain comments, and not only from my parents, but like in general, like coming from, this person is very selfish, or this person, has all this money and money has changed them, and money has been, so bad, in turning them into something they are not, or they're not true to themselves and whatnot. And I think that's insane. Like, I just think that's crazy that I grew up thinking that money was evil and I hadn't even realized. Of course, I wanted money, but, I was like, well, but I don't really want that much money that is going to make me a bad person. I'm a good person. Money won't change me. If anything, I'll use money to help others. And I actually usually do. If I see that I can help someone, when there's a disaster somewhere or whatever it is, I try and help. Or someone is sick and they're, like doing GoFund, I help, So you tell me how that is a bad thing. It's not. It's actually a good thing because you can help the people you love. You can help other people. That brings me to the next mindset shift, which is wealth is never lost. It is exchanged. When you go to, to buy groceries and you think, oh my God, I spend $200 in groceries or more sometimes, right? Depending on where you buy. And that's so much money, and you start getting nervous. Or even like when you save up for something that you really want to buy, let's say, a plane ticket, a trip. It can be a camera that you really wanted or a car that you're really looking forward to buying. And when you save up that money, you go and pay for whatever it is that you're going to pay for, and then you feel a bit guilty because you're spending it. That's because you're seeing things as if you were losing money when you're spending it. And the truth is that you're not. You're just exchanging energy, right? So when you buy groceries, you're nourishing yourself with good things that are good for your body, right? So that is not losing, that is gaining. That's something that you're doing for yourself. When you're buying the car that you've been saving up for a while, you're buying essentially a machine that will take you from A to B and will give you more freedom for you to go places, for you to get to work and make more money, for you to enjoy yourself and enjoy your life, right? So how is that losing? You're not losing, you're gaining there. That takes me to the next mindset shift. Treat yourself like a rich person. And I'm not saying, go out and buy designer stuff. Not at all. To be honest with you, that's not even in my radar. And as a matter of fact, if you knew rich people or the amount of rich people that I've met, they either rarely wear designer stuff or buy designer stuff for themselves. But what they do is, because they're so rich, a lot of them, not all of them, they get this designer stuff for free, but in general, they're pretty frugal. They don't really go out and spend like crazy amounts of money, but they do spend money on things and activities that they love and make them feel good. So I don't know, it could be, going to a really fancy Pilates studio, right? Or getting, treating yourself to a cup of coffee at that really fancy coffee shop around the corner. It can even be, taking yourself for lunch, to a really nice place, or dinner, or for a fancy cocktail. You don't even have to spend money. You could even treat yourself like a rich person by having a very, very enriching nighttime ritual, but like by taking a bath with bath salts and, candles and just making it all very nice, or even setting up a nice dinner at home, putting out your best china, your best glassware, like cutlery, everything, and just make yourself feel rich. Right? Like that to me is already treating myself like a rich person. Dressing up in the clothes, your favorite clothes that make you feel amazing, put a little makeup on, like doing your hair. That to me, I already feel amazing. And I don't have to be dressed all in, designer clothes at all, not at all. But, the fact that I am taking care of myself, that I'm eating good food, the fact that I'm, like treating myself to a cup of coffee or, making sure that I pay for that fancy Pilates studio every month, that already sends out this sign to the universe that, yeah, I'm a rich person. Like this is the type of life that I deserve. And I know that I deserve wealth, and I know that I deserve, happiness and, all the good things in life. So what's going to happen is that more good things are going to come in. So yeah, keep that in mind. Another mindset shift is to focus on making money versus focusing on saving money. And I'm not saying don't save. Please save. Be financially smart, because I wasn't financially smart for the first 20 years of my life. And I don't regret it, but at the same time, I'm like, I would do it differently if someone had, told me, although I probably wouldn't have listened. But anyway, yeah, you need to spend money. You need to have a bit of like a money cushion where, if you need anything for a rainy day, you have a bit saved up. Yes, important. You should have money. But I don't feel like the best practice is just, saving all this money, putting all this money in the bank and making sure that, you've got like so much money there and you're just piling it up. Like what are you going to do with it? Instead, try to focus on earning money. So, like when I started my business, I realized that in order for me to make money, I needed to spend money. So I would spend money, like money would come in and I would save a bit. And then the rest I would spend it in courses, or I would spend it in, expanding my team, or I would spend it in, I don't know, a mastermind, or even like on a day for me to go rest so I could reset and be creative again so I can make more money. I would spend it on, someone like a mentor who would teach me how I could diversify my income and make more money. And then more money would end up coming in because I would have more tools to make more money. So yes, of course, save a bit, but don't become one of these people that are just constantly saving and are not spending at all, because it also becomes harder to let go of money. And it's pretty devastating when you've, saved for so long and you only have, let's say, one source of income, and then, you have to buy, I don't know, a car or something, or a house or whatever it is. And then you just feel awful when you have to like give that money and you feel like, you have nothing left. So no, change your relationship with money, change your mindset, save for a rainy day, but also spend a little bit so you can make a little bit more. It's not that hard. It is hard to realize that you have to do this, but once you start doing it, trust me, it's not that hard. Here's another mindset shift. Be grateful about how abundant you are. What this means is do not wait until you are 100% rich, right? To be grateful. No, be grateful for all the abundance that you have right now. You have a roof over your head. Be grateful. You have food every day on your table. Be grateful, right? You have savings in the bank. Be grateful. Gratitude attracts more wealth, right? And I know a lot of people may be thinking, oh, it's really hard for me to be grateful when I got all these bills to pay and, when I had this incredibly horrible situation that just happened to me. And yes, it's true. It is hard because we do tend to get financially anxious. I was, financial anxiety 2023. That was me. Until one day I said, no, money will come in because I deserve to have money. And because I already, I've made it this far. Like a year ago, I had less than what I have right now. I'm grateful for that. So I'm going to keep working towards having more, right? And that was basically what helped me. So be grateful. Trust me, it goes a long way. And the last mindset shift is for you to open yourself to the possibility of wealth coming in without planning on exactly how to make it come in. This is a big change that I made and that I feel has worked for me. Whenever I get financial anxiety, I think money always turns up. Like, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to get into, I'm not going to spend more than what I have. I'm not an idiot like that, but I will make sure that, if I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh, okay, so I want to, I don't know, do this mastermind, let's say, and I have the money and I get a little anxious because I'm like, well, it is a lot of money. I basically think it's fine because more money will come in. You know, I open myself to the idea that more money will be coming in and I won't have to worry about it, right? So it's basically you trying to tackle those thoughts that, you know, money won't be coming in. It will. You know, it will, and you just have to trust because things always resolve themselves. You're a capable person, you know, and the opportunities will come if you open yourself to them. That's all there is to it. That's it. You need to get rid of negativity, and I know that that can be hard when it comes to money. I know where you're coming from if you feel that way because I've felt that way in the past, maybe because of how I grew up or maybe because of, you know, where I come from. Yes, but it's just a matter of changing things for the better and, you know, breaking the cycle and knowing what you deserve. And once you know what you deserve, trust me, you're going to get it. Thanks for watching. I really hope you liked this video and happy manifesting. See you next time.